This is Barbara Elistad with Mesquite Citizen Journal, and we're here today with Mesquite Mayor Mark Weir.
Barb.
And I am Barb, yeah. It's that time of year for the annual State of the City address and your interview with the Mesquite Citizen Journal. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm just going to come right out of the chute and ask you, your State of the City address is coming up on Tuesday. What is the major theme going to be for this year's state address?
What I want to bring out, and what I think hasn't been brought out in years past, are the things that the city is doing. We need to, as a city, let people know what we are doing on a regular basis, not just once a year at a State of the City, but all the time. And I am going to be talking about some of the fantastic changes that have taken place over the last year when it comes to being business friendly, when it comes to serving the public.
Okay. What are some of those?
If I told you, then it can be part of the speech, Barb.
Precisely. Precisely.
You will get a copy.
Okay. All right. I want to touch on a couple economic issues. And if these are part of your State of the City, you still have to answer the questions today. So, you're not getting off the hook with that one. What are your thoughts on the progress of the Mesquite Regional Business Incorporated organization? They're up and running now. They have a new CEO. So give us your thoughts on that organization.
I think they're moving in the direction they said they would move in. They will be reporting back to council. I think it's great that they've gotten one business to come in. Obviously, they're professionals at what they do, and that's what we need for Mesquite. We need people that are in the business of bringing in businesses. The model that was chosen is a proven model. It's been done throughout the country, and it's been a very successful model. So it's a good first start. Let's hope it continues.
Okay. Are you still participating in the formal economic development activities at the Clark County level and the state?
Yes, I am.
As part of the Nevada Development Authority, or whatever they call it now. I don't know, they changed the name so many times.
I am. In fact, I was just in a meeting this morning, a teleconference with them, and there's some interesting items that we need to pursue. One thing that we want to talk about is bringing more international flights to and from Las Vegas and international cargo to and from Las Vegas. And I think Mesquite would be a fantastic place to have a lot of those trucking firms coming in, storing their goods here, and then moving it down to Las Vegas. And we need to get with Mr. Skanke, who is the new director. He will be here on Monday to meet with Aaron and I and members of staff so that we can go over some of our concerns, some of the things that we need, some of the things that we can do to help move the economic development along. I think we have a good working relationship with them now. I know I've explained it before that we do expend about $3,500 a year to be a part of that board.
Right.
That's basically your ticket to the dance, so to speak. And we can either be a wallflower and wait for somebody to say hi, or we can be progressive and proactive and get involved. And I have asked Aaron and myself, we have both been very much involved in looking at businesses that want to come to Nevada. And we work with the NDA and their staff on a constant basis to try and entice other businesses to come in and to look at Mesquite. So we are doing what we can with that angle, as well as the MBRI working with them. It's a good mix.
I was just going to ask you, it kind of leads me to wonder, are your activities through the city then parallel or crossover or mix with MBRI's activities?
I think...
How would you best describe that?
I would best describe it as a mix.
Okay.
I think the city obviously needs to have a presence at the Clark County level. we need to be involved when it comes to grants, when it comes to federal programs, when it comes to having our tax dollars being used for economic development. We need to be there to see that we're getting what we put into the system. Obviously, $3,500 may not be a lot to some, but it certainly is tax dollars, and we need to be there. What we get back from that, you have a world-known organization that is pulling in companies from all over the world to look at Clark County. As a part of that, we can be a part of that, bring those names to MBRI, to Mr. Baker, and share that information with them and just kind of do a handoff to them and let them do what they do best.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just wondered,
Okay.
how it was working together. The last I read, it kind of looked like the C-tax legislation, the consolidated tax legislation, is quickly moving through the legislature.
It's at the governor's desk right now.
Okay.
So it passed through the Senate, it's passed the Assembly, it's moving forward. We're going to have to take a look at the final draft to see how that formula is going to play out with Mesquite.
What does it look like preliminarily, though, for the impact on Mesquite's portion of those tax revenues?
Our impact is we're probably going to lose some tax dollars, not because of the new formula, but because of the way our population was counted. And that's one of our bigger concerns, is the population count. We want to make sure that when it goes to the state demographer, when we send our numbers to the state demographer, the same formulas are used on a yearly basis. It seems as though it's been, the demographer can choose how they wish to work the formula. That makes it a little bit hard to come up with a good base. It makes it almost impossible to come up with any solid numbers to show what's going to work best. If we keep changing how we do that formula, we're never really going to know whether or not this formula is the best or that formula works better. As of right now, we met with Jeremy Aguero, we met with all of the other cities. The formula that went to the governor's desk is not great for everybody.
Okay.
So it's one of those where everybody is going to have to take somewhat of a hit. We know that Mesquite, because of its population, is going to lose some money. We don't know what that amount is yet. We do need to take a look at those numbers in detail to find out. As soon as the governor signs it, we'll move forward and find out exactly where we're at. That was part of the reason why Assemblywoman or Chair Kirkpatrick wanted to make sure that cities had an opportunity to look at those numbers and get their budgets in place.
Right,
That's
'cause
why she
budget-
pushed it so fast.
Yeah, because the budget, that's the basis for setting the budget that's coming up.
Absolutely.
In May.
It's one of the bases for setting our budget, and it's a big portion of that.
Right,
It's still one of those things that we need to take a look at.
okay. And I've heard this same complaint about the population counts, that they take our population count in the summertime when our population's the lowest and
Yes.
the snowbirds are gone.
Yes.
I mean, is there some way that could be changed to a more reflective time of year, especially for the southern communities in Nevada? I mean, we're not the only one who has that problem, surely.
When this all first came about, Mr. Seacrest and I and Aaron Baker, the city manager, we met with the governor's staff. They came out, they agreed with us that something had to be done. We are working on legislation now to correct those problems. I don't know how far we'll get that. Obviously, the legislature is going to decide how that goes, but we are certainly lobbying for our issues to be addressed. And one of the issues obviously was snowbirds, but the other again is this moving formula.
Okay.
If we have a base, let's make it a base. Let's not keep changing the formula. It's impossible to do numbers, statistics, or figure out anything if we continue to move that formula and change it. And as of right now, as of today, the demographer has the right to use whatever numbers and whatever formula he chooses. So we are looking for some guidance and some stability from the legislature on this issue.
Do you think Do you think they'll make some kind of action or take some kind of action this legislative session, or is it something we're gonna have to suffer through?
I would hope, and in speaking with Senator Hardy and Assemblyman Hardy, that they are taking action this session. They
Okay.
understand the need for this to be done. They are well aware of the concerns of Mesquite.
Okay.